Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Dooster with Cryptids and Critters Paranormal. I have another little paranormal story I want to share with you. This is a true story that occurred in a house we lived in for several years. And I call this one, we call him Fred. This is another true story. My first encounters with the apparition were brief. Just fleeting images of someone or something walking past a window as I sat in my recliner watching TV. Not a full image, mind you, just a blurred movement out of the corner of my eye. It became such a distraction that I decided to install mini blinds on the window, just to block out the view. I told the kids that it was just for privacy to keep anyone from looking into the house. Well, they did seem to buy it. This seemed to work for a few days. That is, until it discovered that the front windows near the sidewalk could produce the same effect. The big screen TV sat between these two windows, and it was even more distracting as it taunted us by rapidly moving past the windows. Again, many blinds at these windows seemed to do the trick, at least for a day or two. You know what they say, out of sight, out of mind. I also concluded that as long as it stayed outside, it wasn't such a big deal. I could live with it. I would install many blinds on all the windows if necessary. It soon became necessary, and over the next few days, I got every downstairs window covered. Evidently, it didn't like to be isolated from our daily indoor activities, or it just didn't like the cooler fall weather. But whatever the reason, it decided to move inside with us. We tried to keep the apparition a secret from our daughters, Shannon, Tracy, and Nikki, as long as possible, even though we knew sooner or later it would make itself known to them. We never mentioned it within earshot of them, or so I thought. One night we were sitting on the sofa discussing the strange occurrences with a close family friend, and went into great detail of what we were experiencing. Unbeknown to me, Nikki was sitting behind the couch, and out of the blue she said, "Oh, you mean Fred? We see him all the time. He comes into our rooms at night and whispers our names." You could have pushed me over with a feather. So much for keeping it a secret. Fred was seen several times on the stairway leading to the bedrooms upstairs. Sometimes just a shadow or some blurred movement visible on the stairway wall. One time a rubber ball came bouncing down the stairway, but at the time I blamed it on our cat. Looking back, I'm not so sure. Tracy jokingly named him Fred, and exactly how she arrived at that name I have no clue. All I know is they called him Fred, and he liked to watch Little House on the Prairie on our TV. Every day at 6 in the evening, regardless of what channel you were already watching, the TV channel would suddenly change to whatever channel was broadcasting Little House on the Prairie at the time. Usually Channel 2. Every day, without fail, this would occur. I explored all known possibilities. The neighbor's garage door opener, low batteries in the remote, a defective remote, stray infrared signals, things like that. I even called the TV manufacturer and attempted to get their input on the situation. They thought I was crazy and hung up on me. So much for customer service. I won't mention the name, but I haven't purchased anything manufactured by them since. Anyway, like I said, at 6 o'clock in the evening, Fred was intent on watching his favorite TV program, and the channel changed all by itself. No matter which of the other stations you were watching at the time, you were now watching Little House on the Prairie. You had no choice in the matter. You changed the channel back, he changed it right back. You change it again, he would change it back to Little House on the Prairie. If you changed the channel one more time, the TV would simply turn off. It's as if it was his way of saying, "Hey, if I can't watch it, then you can't watch it." This went on for several months, and in doing so, ran off a couple of my daughter's prospective dates by his TV viewing habits. Toby Campbell, God rest his soul, came one evening to take Tracy on a date. And it was getting close to 6 o'clock, so we told him about Fred and his TV viewing habits. He didn't believe us, so I handed him the only remote we had, which was the simple infrared kind that you had to point directly at the TV for it to work. We sat beside him and kept our hands where he could see them. Sure enough, at exactly 6 o'clock, the TV station switched from the channel we were watching to Little House on the Prairie. Excuse me. We had Toby switch it back, and immediately it changed right back to Little House. He again switched channels, and a couple seconds later, it went back to Little House. Again, he switched it back, and the TV went off just like we told him it would. Toby stood up, handed me the remote, and left. He never came back. Tracy ended up staying home that night. I met Fred up close and personal one day at the house. We always called it the Blue House. I was home alone and working in the yard when I heard the phone ring. I rushed in to answer it, and as I hurriedly opened the front door, there he was, standing at the foot of the stairs. The encounter only lasted for a split second before he vanished into thin air, but it was long enough for me to know I was not alone. The first thought was it's just a reflection from the door, but try as I might, I could not duplicate or debunk what I had just seen. There was definitely someone or something standing there that day. I said that was a little encounter. It was a true story about Fred. We still joke about Fred every once in a while. Subscribe to my channel, Cryptids and Critters Paranormal. Give me a like. Visit my Facebook page, which is also Cryptid and Critters Paranormal. And I hope you enjoy listening to me ramble on about Fred. And we will catch you later.